Hi, I'm Tony Nichols, and welcome to Chamber Chat. Hi, welcome to Chamber Chat, a program put together by the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce to keep you informed on what's going on in your chamber and in your community. Joining us on this edition of Chamber Chat is David Harner with Wicomico County Board of Education. Welcome to the program, David.
Good morning.
You're here to talk about something we've talked about on the program before, but maybe in a little bit a different format, Career Day. Take us, if you could, give us the behind the curtains view of Career Day.
Pull the curtain back.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's even more important today than when we started Career Day. First of all, Career Day is a partnership between Wicomico County Public Schools, the Chamber of Commerce, the young professionals in particular. Mm-hmm. And I think it's even more important today to help students connect school with their future. And that is kind of the tagline for Career Day. And so what we've done is we've put together actually a series of events, starting with conversations in the classroom with our guidance counselors and our teachers about future careers with students. We then host what is typically referred to as Career Day at Salisbury University, where we have professional volunteers come in and talk about their profession. We then follow up that actual day with a reflective essay. Students reflect on the information they got, the people they met, and whether or not that changed their minds about Career Day. And it all is timed to fall in March, early spring, because this is about the same time that guidance counselors and students are also thinking about class schedules for next year.
Sure.
So everything is designed to help students think, get some self-reflection about their future, connect school and careers, and then all the mechanics about scheduling, etc.
What grade level are you targeting, and maybe speak to a little bit of the formatting within Career Day itself?
Yeah, sure. We invite every single ninth grader in Wicomico County Public Schools to participate. It's hosted at Salisbury University's campus. Happens to be their spring break, so some rooms are available for us. All of the presenters are hosted by volunteers, professionals from business, nonprofits, and other agencies here in Wicomico County, recruited by the young professionals. They give up their time to come and talk to students, give them some behind the curtain scenes of their own, some insights into their professions, how they got there, how much money they make, what is a day in the life of fill in the blank, various professions, etc. And
have we identified what professions or what industries or might be represented at Career Day?
Yeah, every year we typically have somewhere between 35 and 40 different professions, again, from law enforcement and the military to nonprofits to veterinarians, doctors, nurses, engineers, business owners, the full gamut.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a loaded question. I've worked Career Day when I first got to Salisbury 14 years ago and joined the chamber. Worked a couple of Career Days, so I've been there, done that. But here's the question: are we going to have a course or a breakout on how to create your own YouTube channel so you can become a billionaire star overnight?
No promises. No wait. No promises on the overnight billionaire status.
There you go.
But we actually have in the past have people come in and talk about social media careers, careers that either access the internet or use the internet.
You almost have to have that nowadays.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. How did the idea and this concept and how it ties in more so with the Board of Education than before, how did this idea come up?
Yeah, it's always been in the back of our minds, and it's written in bits and pieces in various curriculum in the school. You know, I think teachers have always tried to help students connect what they're doing in the classroom or school in general with the quote-unquote real world. You know, there's always the question, you know, why do I need to study this math? I'll never use it again. So, you know, that's the perennial question. But I think it was right around the financial crisis, and when the Chamber approached the Board of Ed and the young professionals in particular, and we were able to put this thing together, refine it, grow it, polish it, and it's been a great success.
So Career Days, the day in and of itself is, I don't think monumentous feat is too big or too small a descriptor, but there are things leading up to Career Day that happens for this to be successful. Tell us what some of those things might be.
Yeah, there are PowerPoints, presentations, lessons going on in the classroom with teachers and students to prep them for Career Day. They talk about the actual sessions that are going to be offered, almost like if you were to go to a professional conference. You know, there's a lot of sessions going on, but you get to go and personalize the day as a student, and you pick the top 4 sessions that you want to go to. So when that student arrives on campus, they go to the sessions that they themselves chose. So they have some buy-in. And about 20-minute sessions, they rotate through, get to meet a variety of interesting people, presenters, get lots of information, and then we get them back to the school for the rest of the day.
That leads me to the very next question. Good segue. How's the follow-up? Is there follow-up? You know, there's preparation leading up to. Is there follow-up from teachers or guidance counselors after the fact?
There is. Specifically tied to Career Day, we have a follow-up essay. Students are asked to reflect on what they learned, what they heard, who they met, and whether or not that had any impact. Did it solidify what it was career-wise they were already thinking about, or did it maybe change their mind? Did they pick a session that, you know, kind of altered their view? Oh, I didn't think about that, etc. And that is specific to Career Day. And the young professionals I work with through the Chamber, they go through those essays, they read them, they pick out some winners, we present some prizes, all donated by our sponsors for Career Day, local businesses and foundations help support this effort as well.
Very good. Quickly, we're running out of time for this segment. What can students do to begin to build their resume with the work experiences that they might be having now with the part-time jobs or internships that they might be doing?
I think first students have to do a little self-reflection. They have to know who they are. What do they like to do? And this will help them drift or experiment in certain career fields. And then after that, they need to look for internships. They need to look for summer work and look beyond the actual day-to-day of what they're doing. So if you're working in a retail or fast food, it's not just about serving that sandwich. Look at the management. What does your manager do? Find somebody that you admire, get a mentor, or ask that person that you admire questions. How did they get to where they are? And that will help individual students maybe progress or focus in on or even aspire to a particular profession.
Sound advice. David Harner, Wicomico County Board of Education.
Thank you,
Thanks
Tony.
for joining on Chamber Chat.
Anytime.
We'd like to give you the opportunity now to take a look at the upcoming events with the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce.
Clear. 9 minutes and 1 second.
Welcome back to Chamber Chat right here on Pack 14. And joining us now is Bryan Ashby with, guess what, the Wicomico County Board of Education. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
I feel smarter already by having so many members of the Board of Education on Chamber Chat in one show.
We appreciate the opportunity.
We will find out if that holds true. You're here to talk about CTE. Tell us what CTE is.
CTE is Career and Technology Education. Within Wicomico County, we have over 20 CTE programs of study. Most of them are housed at Parkside Career and Technology Center. But we do have in our comprehensive high schools pre-engineering programs at Wicomico High, computer science programs at all of our high schools, a brand new program of study in business marketing and in business administrative services, which includes accounting. And for next year, we've got a new program coming in interactive media in our arts and communication program.
Oh, very cool. So they can come and learn how to run Pack 14.
We hope so.
Well, at some point in time, Craig's going to retire, maybe in 15 or 20 years. But until then, well, we've got him. So I'm going to ask a silly question.
Okay.
There are no silly questions, but I'm going to ask a silly question. In your opinion, why do you think students should be involved in CTE programs?
I think for really three reasons. One, to explore what they feel might be future career paths. And when I say that, it's not only to engage in what they think they may want to do, but at times something that's equally as valuable, they find out what they don't want to do.
Right, that's right.
So we go, that's through the exploratory phase. And then secondly is what I call the immersion phase, where we really educate them generally for 600 to 700 hours in a program. And then the third phase is to go on the job, to get a job, to have support with the school and with a local employer, and then to reap the benefits of experience prior to either entering the career directly full-time or going to post-secondary study to further their education.
You said most of the programs are housed at Parkside.
Correct.
So let's say my child goes to Y High.
Okay.
How do they find out? How do I as a parent find out the things that are available to my child if it's at another school?
Okay. We do an annual open house each year. This year it was on February 3rd. We do go out to each of the home high schools or the comprehensive high schools. Our CTE counselor works in conjunction with school counselors to do a presentation about CTE programs. Our CTE website, on the Board of Ed website, we're doing lots of video now for the month of February. February is CTE month. As well as we encourage parents to call into the CTE office to talk to either one of the administrators or the CTE counselor, so we can help guide both the student and the parent in their chosen direction, what CTE program they're interested in.
I would imagine that there are many community stakeholders or community members that are involved, business owners that want to be involved, not only to help students, but for selfish reasons. That's where you're going to find some great talent, I would think.
Yes.
Do you see that to be the case?
We do. 2 times a year we have PAC meetings or program advisory meetings. So we really like our community business people, industry stakeholders, industry representatives, post-secondary partners to all come together. We do that in both October and March. We have over 400 PAC members at the current time, and we really depend on them before we launch a CTE program, before we alter a CTE program. We want constant feedback. What are we doing right? What can we do better? And we want to be partners with them. And we do try to provide them the best and brightest that we have to offer who graduate from our programs. We also are looking for on-the-job training placements. We're looking for recommendations on, sometimes it's supplies or equipment, and other times it's curriculum and what we're going to have the kids study as they're with us as they prepare for an industry credential prior to graduation.
I know, maybe it's just my opinion. In the last several years, there has been a surge or resurgence of CTE as a buzzword, CTE programming. Is that a national thing, or is that just a local thing, and why?
I think it's a national push. Certainly Maryland
Okay.
has really made a push to expand CTE. We hear it often from the Maryland State Department of Education to look at program expansion. And I think that's for several reasons. One, Maryland is a state that is on an upward tick. Unemployment is very low. Blue collar employment, especially in some of our construction and medical trades, is on the rise. For students who are interested in programs like computer science or IT, pre-engineering, all of those are on the rise as well. And students who get involved in CTE do very, very well academically. Graduation rate is extremely high. Students in Wicomico County, typically we're 98% or higher as far as our graduation rate.
I was going to ask you, I saw some statistics, and the statistics from taking to graduation to placing in jobs all were higher than the state average, which was, the best word is impressive.
You know, we're very pleased with where we are. Not satisfied,
Right.
but very pleased. Our students who graduate, their likelihood of going in the military and post-secondary or employment is several percentage points higher than the state average. And we like to get to know our students as individuals. So
Sure.
once they leave, data is good, but it really doesn't mean anything unless we can put it with a face. So we try to stay in touch with our students, and they are future PAC members. We
Sure.
do bring our students back once they're placed, and their advice to us on their experience is key for the next generation of student to come through CTE.
You said something that piqued my interest, new programming. Okay, what's new? Isn't it outside of computers? What is there to be new? Are you just adding to the program, or is it new industries, new opportunities? What's new?
New opportunities. We have the opportunity to bring in interactive media next year into Wicomico High School. That'll be a new program for Wicomico High and for Wicomico County. In the future, we're looking at a biomedical science program as well as looking at Homeland Security or possibly another computer networking program. It really, what drives our programming is student interest. So if the student interest is there, we'll create a program to harness that interest. We don't create programs without community input. We really look to our community partners first, and regionally, what is available in Wicomico County, what's available in the Lower Eastern Shore, and where we can partner with post-secondary partners. That's key in launching a program.
Before the commercial gets us, what is one thing that you want to make sure you get out there to parents and students about CTE, and then maybe one thing that is a misconception about the program?
Okay. I'd say the one thing to get out to parents is CTE is for all students, students who want to enter directly into employment upon graduation or want to continue with secondary, post-secondary study. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is back when I was a CTE student in the 1980s, the misconception was that students who went to vocational school, and that's what it was called then, did not go to college. And I was a rare student in that time. I knew I wanted to go to school. And today's students have a multitude of opportunities. There's articulated credit with programs, there's scholarship opportunity. We really encourage them, if they want to continue after they graduate from a CTE program and have a technical assessment.
Very good. Bryan, thanks for joining us on Chamber Chat.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity.
Come back anytime. We'd like to give you another look at the upcoming events with the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome back to Chamber Chat right here on Pack 14. Joining us now is Toby Gilbert of Gilbert's Provisions in Berlin, Maryland. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dude, I've got all kinds of crazy questions for you.
I might have answers.
Gilbert's Provisions is... Why don't you describe what Gilbert's Provisions is, and I'll get into the crazy questions that I want to ask you.
Yeah, so I'm, still trying to figure that out, but I kind of consider it almost like an upscale convenience store, grocer.
Okay.
We do have food for lunches and everything,
right.
but it's mostly prepackaged goods, cured meats, cheeses, fermented foods.
It's like an upscale grocery store.
Exactly.
So that's where you brought up, there was a good segue.
Mm-hmm.
How does one grow up to want to make fermented food?
That's a good question. Well, I grew up in Whaleyville, and we had 5 acres, and we always had animals. We had pigs, goats, turkeys, horses, and we always had a farm. So
Sure.
I grew up with a lot of fresh produce,
Yep.
and kind of out on the farm. And I was always kind of like I always loved pickles. So I was always cooking, and then when I got out of college, I got a job in New York under a chef, and that's when I first learned how to ferment foods. And
Okay.
I was like, it was just like the process of it. I thought was kind of magic. So for
Like farm meets science meets.
yeah. I was always
food.
really into science too,
Yeah,
because I'm I'm a surfer and I'm always outdoors. So once I started to figure out how to ferment, I just rolled with it. So when it comes to vegetables, making vinegar, even miso, I kind of really got into it, brewing beer. I just thought the process was really cool.
Okay, your stock just went up because you said you were beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so here's the $64,000 question, and it's, can I pronounce it correctly? What is charcuterie?
Yeah, you did good.
Did I do good?
Yeah.
All right, what is
So charcuterie is basically the art of curing, salting, preserving meats.
Okay.
There's kind of quicker charcuterie, like bacon, which I do in-house, pate that I do in-house. I may even make duck breast ham. But then there's long-term charcuterie, like doing country hams that take 18 months.
I was going to ask you, growing up, and I grew up in the country as well, on farms, and we would slaughter our own pot pigs, and we would cure them in an old-fashioned smokehouse.
Yeah.
So that is a form of charcuterie. Then.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I have one in my attic right now.
Okay.
But that one's, that takes over a year.
long time, yeah.
Opposed to bacon takes like 5 days.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right, nice. So what items, what are the benefits, is what I wanted to get to. What are the benefits, are there benefits to fermenting foods?
To fermenting foods, yeah.
Yeah.
Charcuterie is, salty
It's just
and
preserving.
it's it's in moderation.
Right.
So fermented foods are full of good bacteria, good yeasts.
Which your stomach needs.
Which
by the way.
exactly. So a lot of people they're taking a lot of antibiotics these days. A lot of like overly medicated people,
Sure.
kind of, for better or for worse. But when you take antibiotics, you're basically shutting down a lot of that good bacteria and those good systems. So when you eat these foods, you get them back.
You put the probiotics in without having to take a supplement.
Exactly. So instead of buying, probiotic pills or anything, you can come and get sauerkraut,
Right.
and get it that way.
How long did you say the process was, or did we get into
With the fermenting?
Yeah.
So it can be 7 to 10 days.
All right.
Miso takes about a year. Vinegar takes about 6 months. They're all different processes, but the normal sauerkraut, kimchi, sour pickles, that's 7 to 10 days.
Would you say let's just use sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is probably the #1 fermented food that everybody would recognize.
The most basic, yeah. And that's just cabbage and salt.
Right. What would be the one that people least recognize that would turn into a wow factor that was really good?
Well, people are getting more and more familiar with kimchi. I have like weekly kimchi people, but I also do fermented garlic, and it's as simple as kraut, but it's just you see garlic in a different way. The miso is probably the most different because it's a multi-step fermentation, and most people don't know where it comes from. But I would say kimchi is probably on the rise of like popularity.
I know it is with my daughter. She's 19.
Yeah. Spicy, garlicky, oniony, ginger, like everything good.
Yeah, everything good that you don't want in your breath, but you love to eat.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
love
it
to eat.
helps if the people around you are eating it too.
That's right.
You know?
There you go. So I would think that you would need to be very picky if you were fermenting foods, and not only the kinds of foods that you select, but where you select the foods from.
Yeah, I try to use as much local produce as possible. I won't lie that I have to get stuff from California sometimes.
right.
I won't lie, you know,
Yeah.
I'll never say I'm 100% local, 100% organic, but I try to be as much as possible.
Right. That's fair. I mean, yeah.
You know, you have to clean all the vegetables. You have to make sure it's very clean, and the salt helps out a lot. You know, it's you know, stuff can't live in X amount of salt, but you do have to wash all the vegetables. You have to be make sure all your utensils and everything are clean, so you're not growing any bad little guys. You want all
Right.
the good ones to be
Yeah,
alive.
yeah. The bad ones they're bad for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what is the demand, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask. What is the demand for fermented foods? Because I'm thinking it's much greater than what I think it is.
Yeah, and it's growing. Probably 5-10 years ago, pretty low. Now, with people realizing that they can get all these good cultures from you know, stuff that tastes good, it's definitely growing. I have weekly kimchi people. People come in and get kombucha that's brewed in Ocean City weekly. You know, they'll have it in the morning, they'll have it at night, just to keep their system right. But it's definitely growing, and people come in specifically for the fermented foods.
Tell me about the life of a small grocer / small business owner that's trying to get it up and running and make things happen.
Yeah, well, wintertime, you know, it's always gonna be tough around here, but I'm going into my 3rd summer, and it's only kind of growing from there. The more people that, you know, first timers I have, you know, the more second timers I have, and in the beginning it was definitely tough because I went from being a chef to like a small business owner.
Would you say it is more a product of passion, or now supply and demand that is growing?
It's good. It's a good mix, especially with a lot of like internet commerce.
Okay.
You know, bigger chains and malls and stuff. I think are going to go by the wayside, and it's going to be, you know, your core large group businesses and then small businesses.
Right. That's the one.
So, but in Berlin, I knew, or our area, we didn't have a good cheese shop or cured meat shop. We definitely did a ferment shop, and these are all the things that in my culinary career I really got interested in. So it's supply and demand. It's also a big selfish thing for me because I can be surrounded by cured meats and cheeses and pickles all day.
Right, and beer, and brewing beer.
Yeah, and I can make bread every day, and you know, it's a slower pace of life than a chef life, but it's still, you know, I get to play with food all the time.
Toby Gilbert, thanks for joining us on Chamber Chat. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'd like to thank you as well for joining us on this edition of Chamber Chat. And as always, if you missed a portion of this program or you'd like to view previous editions of Chamber Chat, you can utilize Pat 14's on-demand feature on their website, or you can visit the Chamber's website. That's all the time we have for this edition of Chamber Chat. My name's Tony Nichols, your host, encouraging you to make a difference.